Morning. It's your coach, Carla Nicole. I want to welcome you. So there's a post I made a while back, just talking about the challenges that men struggle with once they realize that their primary relationship, marriage, partnership that he was involved in is no longer here. So unfortunately, there's a struggle with that because most people don't realize that the truth is, after a while, when you have to think about your survival in your relationships, as a man, he's going to have to do whatever it takes to survive. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Coach Carla Nicole, and I'm going to address the misconception that men are going to stay with a woman regardless. He's just going to stay with you and stay with the nonsense, stay with the mistreatment, stay with the back and forth. And a lot of times men don't, especially if his life depends on it, or if his lady said, she's done, I'm fed up, I don't want to be here anymore, I just don't want to be in a relationship with you, I've had enough. And then she turns away. Okay, but you realize when you turn away, the challenge is now that in that turn away, she's in disbelief that you just up and left. You're just gone. It just really is really surprising and shocking to usually a lot of women that are with these gentlemen that decide to be like, I'm not going to stay in this relationship anymore, I'm going to leave. So what I try to help women to understand, or gentlemen that are now coming into this realization that they are no longer in a full-time intentional relationship, be it marriage, be it living together, or whatever. Once you're out of that relationship, you are now in a survival mode. And it is now on the man or on you to decide, well, how am I going to do this? What am I supposed to do? Everything that men don't really think about because they have a lady, they're finding out now that they have to now figure out ways to accommodate their life, because if they don't have this accommodations in place, then again, what am I supposed to do? I'm a man and I don't have my lady now. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? So I'm helping gentlemen to see that the truth is you can, survive it. It's just going to take some time. It's going to take some thinking, take a team if you need to. But once you are out of a relationship with someone, your life is now in a different condition. Okay? So let's go down the list, because I always like to let men know that if you are in survivor mode, there are 4 major things that you've got to make sure are taken care of. Because if you don't remember, because you just had it and you were just used to it being done, these are 4 major things you're going to have to think about, especially if you and her are now apart and you now have to take care of yourself. So make sure to share this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. My channel is Coaching Matters. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. Um, okay, so now that the housekeeping's done, let me tell you what's the number one, two, three, four reasons that men realize that some of the things they may not have realized until they got in the situation where they're no longer in a relationship, what needs to be done. The number one thing is his socialization. Whether you were in good standing with that woman or not, whether you and her were together and really good at being friends or in any type of social dynamic with each other. I'm here to tell you that even the silence or even the not talking or the attitude or whatever that was going on is going to be gone. So now you're going to have to figure out, as a man that's struggling with this, what kind of socialization am I going to have? You're now going to have to build female friendships. Or you're going to have to go in the old Rolodex and talk to some old female friends that you used to be cool with. Or, reach out to your sister and say, hey, I need you to kind of, check on me because my house is now quiet. I don't have someone to kind of be a little agitated with, or at least having some type of engagement with. Men who don't have that socialization in their life after they've been married or in a relationship for a long time can find themselves not necessarily depressed, but can find themselves very frustrated because they're not used to not having that one-on-one time with someone to just even have some type of presence in their life. Sometimes people just being around, even if it's good or positive or negative, it serves a purpose and we don't realize it. But yes, this is something that gentlemen that are going through a divorce or going through a separation, or they're no longer with their lady, they find out that their socialization that they're used to is now in a shambles, or is not in a good state. So it's gone. So just let you know, that's one of the major things that goes on that is very challenging for men. And a lot of times women don't realize that, oh, I'm in a relationship with someone and we really don't get along, but in our, relationship, I didn't realize that me just being around, my presence mattered. It did. It did. And once it's gone, it's going to highly impact him. And if that's the father of your children, he might find himself really struggling with being lonely, depressed, sad, discontent. So these are feelings that men who have not really had to be alone sadly have to face. The main number one thing is socialization is the first thing that a man, when his relationship, marriage is over, is something that he has to struggle with. However, once he figures out, I need to now go back and be social again, I need to start building friendships and relationships, he starts to realize, okay, I can get back to figuring things out, but in the beginning, it's very trying. And I'm going to help any gentleman that's watching this morning that finds himself frustrated or going through this. I'm going to give you some key things you can do to where you're not feeling depressed, but you're feeling like more focused on what can be your resolution to the new absence in your life, because that's what it is. It's clearly a new absence in your life. Not being together with someone for a long time, or even if you've been together for between 2 to 5 years, that's still a time that you have been in that relationship, and it has been a relationship for a long time, and it can still take a toll. It can still take a toll on you psychologically. Okay? Now, the second thing that men has to think about when their relationship is no longer here as sex. Yes, sex. Sex is now not as easily accessible as it is when you're in a relationship. So now you have to decide, what am I supposed to do that I don't have a wife, or I don't have my girl, my lady, my partner that I'm normally intimate with? What am I supposed to do now that this is over with? This is the one of the biggest struggles for many men. And unfortunately, a lot of times women don't expect that the man is going to part ways from them and leave, because they think, well, as long as I'm his source of intimacy, he's going to always stay. He's never going to leave. He's going to stay right here. Well, that's not necessarily true. Once a man detaches himself from being so sexually desirous and starts to think about, well, my treatment of how I'm treated in this relationship, if this treatment is not matching, kindness and caring, I'm not going to want to be intimate with you. Once a man gets to that space and point, he's going to be like, you know what, I'm cool. I'll be all right. There's other means to this drama. I'm not going to stay in a relationship knowing that you as a woman is not going to be treating me well, or you as a woman aren't really giving a damn about me. You only treat me well when you're in the bedroom, but other than that, you're gone, or you're not really present, or you really don't care about me. And so, because of that, when men are in survival mode, they're looking at, my number 2 struggle is my intimacy. Where am I going to get my sex from? Because I really actually don't have a lover. I don't have a woman. So now I'm going to have to do what? I'm going to have to interact with some new women, or I'm going to have to go on my Rolodex, or I'm going to have to talk to some ladies at work and see, or do sometimes men do end up finding escorts. They do whatever they got to do to survive. And some men really have to come to a conclusion that they're just not going to be in a situation where they're miserable because of the fact that their intimacy is now tanked and they don't get any. That's not even an option. When it comes down to survival mode, and survival mode meaning they want a life of peace. They want a life where they don't have to feel like they can't really be enjoyed, or they're in a relationship where they're constantly back and forth with someone. They're like, you know what? My peace is better than my sex. And if I got to deal with this just to get sex, I'm good. I'll be all right. I am okay. And a lot of times men will just walk away. And again, remember I said before, it's very difficult for the lady or women to see that men don't have it to do. They're not going to stay in a relationship being poorly treated, being disregarded, and being unappreciated. They're not. Not when they begin to realize that they don't have to tolerate it. Men are gone. And they'll say, bye, I'll get an escort, or I'll go with an ex or whatever, but I'm not going to stay in this relationship anymore, because now my life, which is my experience while I'm on this planet, is more important to me than you giving me pure hell all the time, treating me horribly and tormenting me. I don't have that to do. So I'm just going to be done. And that's what they do. And then, like I said, men try to come up with solutions with how am I supposed to do? I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm a man out here and I don't have a lover. There's resolutions. But again, I'm just telling you, once men get to this survival mode, they don't have it to do. And they won't keep playing around and staying around with a woman who's mistreating them. It's not going to happen. And they're fed up from the floor up. They're fed up from the floor up. Yes, I'm good, of course. Now, the third thing that men have to think about is their housekeeping. Yes, their housekeeping. What is their house looking like? Once they're no longer in a full-time relationship with their woman or their wife, They have to now figure out, well, how am I going to keep this house clean? Because normally it's on the shoulders of the woman, not always, but it's on the shoulders of the woman to really make sure that the house is clean. And unfortunately, once that lady leaves, the laundry, the cleaning of the toilets, the basic dusting and all of those things, listen, they're going to start to not get done because there's no woman around. And that's okay. But I just want to let you know that men really have a hard time with, what am I supposed to do with this? I have a whole house here. She's gone. And I don't know the first thing about maintaining my household because I'm gone. I'm working. But I don't want to be living in filth either. I want my house clean. I want my house well kept. I want to make sure when I come in the house that I don't have to feel like I'm in a war zone because I'm a man. I'm just going to come in and do what I normally do, not realizing that when I take my clothes off and shoes off and just walk in the house and just throw things around, my wife or my woman was picking the stuff up and cleaning it because she knew that that was her responsibility, as most relationships are. True. However, when that lady's gone and men are in survival mode, they have to think about this. Well, what am I supposed to do now? She's gone. I don't have anybody to make sure that the house is clean. I don't have anybody to clean my toilets and make sure the mirrors and stuff are wiped down. That's not even on the frontal lobe of your mind because you're making sure that the bills are getting paid. You're gone working. So you're not thinking about, oh shit, you mean you got to take these drapes down and wash them? Yes. You got to wash the rugs, wash the towels, fold them up. All that stuff has to get done. And a man is like, look, I don't have time for this. So now he's going to be like, I'm out of balance or I feel uncomfortable because I really want to make sure that doesn't fall to the wayside because me and this lady aren't together anymore. And I'm not going to stay with her just because of these things. And again, we're going to go down the list. Just because I don't have no one to talk to and be social with, just because I'm not making love to a woman, and just because my house isn't clean, I'm not staying being mistreated. Just not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be mistreated. I'm not going to be treated like dog poop. I'm not. And so once a man comes to that strong self-loving, and in his soul, he's like, I love me, and damn it, I love me a lot. I'm not staying with a woman that is not going to match that love. I'm not. And so once a man gets to this point, he's going to be like, okay, I'm going to have to get a cleaning service. I'm going to have to pay, my young niece or my young girls or whatever, or I'm going to have to take all my laundry every week and go to the laundry service and have them wash my clothes. I'm going to have to do something because I just don't have it to do. Or I'm going to have to pick a day during the week that I take care of my laundry because now it's something that's out of my practice. I normally don't have to do this. So now this is a new thing. And this is why some women think he will stay with me because I'm doing this and doing that. No, he will end up coming up with a plan on how he's going to have those things done. Whether it's like I said, a cleaning service, whether he hollers at his mom and say, hey mom, can you take care of me on the weekends? Or do you mind taking care of this Lowe's for me for a little while until I get a grip of being alone, being without this woman in my life? Can you look out? Or his sister, or, someone he's cool with until he gets a grip on getting in a routine. Because I'm going to tell you what, once a man is done, he's done. And he's not going to stay in mistreatment, or he's not going to stay in the nonsense. It's not happening. A man is going to be done with it and fed up from the floor up. That's just the truth. So one of the powerful things about this is we need to make sure we understand that no matter what, we have to realize that relationships are not easy, but relationships have their challenges. But also, when we're in relationships, there's certain things that we get comfortable with or have comforts because we're in them. And so, again, when a man is in a relationship that he's feeling just pure joy for, he's good. But once that relationship becomes turbulent, becomes a war zone, he comes in the house and he's being treated nasty. Because now, if you notice, and this is just to the ladies who's watching, if you pay attention, the narrative right now is men don't have a lot of patience with mistreatment, with being unappreciated, or with just, attitudes and nastiness. That's not going to happen. So he will have no problem. His patience and tolerance for nonsense is very low. Just not going to tolerate it. And so when this happens, we have to sit down and be like, okay, what is it that we can do? Because now my household is not the same. I am now in a bind, or I feel like my survival is getting a lot more tight to figure out what am I supposed to do now. Well, this is why you're here, because I'm going to tell you some things. If you stay till the end, certain things that you can do to make sure that you have decent situations to where you don't, men, if you're in a toxic relationship, you don't have to stay. There are ways to get around being mistreated. There are ways to walk away. Like I showed you so far, socialization is not there. You're not being intimate, and then your house is unclean. There's resolutions to that, of course. Now, last but not least, when a man is in survival mode, the last thing he thinks about is, where am I going to get fed? I'm hungry. Food. Where am I eating? How am I eating? Now, there's not too many men anymore that know nothing about cooking. So a lot of times they'll have to learn now how to grocery shop and how to, cook meals or whatever. A lot of times I'm noticing currently that a lot more men are well aware of how to take care of themselves in the kitchen. They're not subservient to that anymore. But there are still men that have been catered to and has never really had to cook. So because they haven't had to cook, they're not really privy to how to get meals done. So what does a man do when he has to figure out a way to get fed? One or two things. He's either going to get takeout, and that's not often smiled upon because that becomes an expense, or he cooks for himself. It's one or the other. So again, these are things that some men are struggling with, because once they're in a relationship and they're in a solid relationship for a while and in a long time, you'll realize that some relationships have what it takes to be in a decent scenario to where, hey, they were taken care of, they were fed, and all of those things, they were made love to, the house was clean, and all of these things were in place. However, once the relationship's over, what's he supposed to do? So a lot of men, like I said, will do takeout, or they'll cook for themselves. However, when women are looking at this thinking that he's not going to leave, she's like, well, who's going to cook for him? Well, he'll figure it out, because survival is going to be important to him. Men don't want to stay in misery and be miserable. They definitely don't want to stay in a depression, and they don't want to be in a war zone. When he has to sit in the driveway and pause to come in the house, let me tell you something. That's not good. Because when that man is outside waiting to come in the house, that means it's worse inside the house than outside. And men are fed up now. They're tired of being mistreated. They're tired of being looked at as just a bank, a walking bank. He's not providing, then men are sick of being treated like, well, are you going to pay for this? Are you going to pay for that? and he can't be made love to, or a man has to be coming in a home and the house is filthy, he's done. He's over it. So now women have to sit down and realize, well, wait a minute. Men aren't always going to sit or be so rooted in staying with me because of the fact that I give him, the little half-ass amount of sex that I can possibly give him, or here you go, damn, hope you enjoy it, but I'm not really here. I'll give you the bare minimum. After a while, a man is going to feel that and he's going to be like, I don't want it. I just don't want it. I will stay by myself. And like I said, he will resort to getting at friends with benefits, coming up with a plan to start going out. And hey, there's females at the gym, there's women at the bars, at the restaurants, there's women out here that are very willing and not just a nuisance to him, that will spend time with him, that won't give him hell about what his needs are. But when a man's in survival mode like this, he's going to be done. He's not going to sit and stay in a relationship like this. So again, those are four things, four major reasons that men are like, okay, I got to think about what I'm going to do because this relationship is done. I am over it. So, okay, what do I have to do? Well, I got to make sure I have some socialization. So I got to make sure I got someone to mingle with, spend time with. I got to make sure I'm intimate. So I got to make sure I got a friends with benefits, or a lady I'm interactive with, to where me and her can get down and be cool. Then I got to make sure my house is clean. So I need to either holler at mom or holler at my sisters and pay them, or get a housekeeping service. And then four, if I'm hungry, I'm going to have to feed myself. How about that? So I'm either going to have to go back to getting busy with grocery shopping, coming up with schedules of how do I get this done. But a lot of times we're not thinking as the outsider or the woman that's with him, we're not thinking that, oh, so you'll just leave? Yes, he will. Continue with your nonsense. Continue with being nasty. Continue with your nasty attitude. Continue with your not tonight. Continue with that. Continue only wanting him for the money. I'm telling you, ladies, you better step up, because there's men out here that are tired of it. They're really tired of it. And the truth is, if a man ends up finding out that he can insert himself into a womb that is very welcoming and is very open to taking care of him and cares about him, doesn't care about his money, can care less about where he works and what he can provide for her because she's got her own. Once a man finds out that what I can be cared about, time's up. Game over. And men are finding out there are wombs, there are women, there are catering, nurturing, caring women that are out here that will definitely look out for you and look out for him. No questions asked. And not only that, she will make sure that he has everything he needs. Problem is, we don't really realize the power of being open to being real. Men have to go into this survival mode in the beginning. But once that man masters where he's getting his socialization from, who he's spending his time with, what woman is giving, or women who's giving him good making love and sex to, once his house is cooked, clean, and he has his food together, guess what? This is why a lot of men are saying, I'm good on getting remarried. I'm good on being single. I'm fine with it. And I'm not looking for another one to replace her. Because at the end of the day, it's costing him more to try to keep another person happy. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. This is what's real. I'm your coach, Carla Nicole. You can reach me at 8445 Wisdom for a session. My sessions are $75 for just 45 minutes. We do our sessions on Zoom. Also, if you need to just decompress and come up with a plan on how to really figure things out, I am a living soul profile reader. I can help with numerology system. That's a guidance system called Living Soul. I can help you to understand certain things about your self, about your soul, that can help you get a little more set in how to figure out things now that you're alone, now that you're out of this relationship. It really serves you better to know more about yourself once you come out of these relationships, because the more you study about you and understand you, the better. Because then once you learn you and you understand what archetypes are best for you, we have 4 archetypes. Our living soul has 4 archetypes. We have a soul archetype, we have a sun archetype, a moon archetype, and also an earth archetype. And out of all of those archetypes, it helps us to understand self. When we understand who we are, truly understand who we are, we choose our lover better. We don't just choose from how good they look and how great we get along. We choose by knowing this is who I am. This is what I come to the table with in myself. See, it's a narrative out here, common narrative that men, quote unquote, it's just said. I don't know if this is necessarily true. This is just what you hear. Men want to know what a woman is coming to the table with. And I get it. I understand. Trust me. Yet, men, the more you know about you and the more you understand your actual living soul archetypes, you will understand, oh, wait a minute. I can find out more about me, and then I can know what woman is a better match. Because I'm going to tell you what, once you come out here and you start mingling with different ladies, there's going to be other opportunities. And that's fine, but right now, currently with my clients, I'm helping them to choose to the better of their makeup, of their living soul design. It's important because it's okay to interact and have connections, yes, but don't you want to have the best? I'm just saying. Call my number, 8445 Wisdom. I can help you to get your living soul reading. And all I need is your birth date, your name, and it is $65 for your reading. You get the reading right then and there in your email. Once we get everything and I tell you how to go about getting your reading. But again, like I said, once you get your reading and you understand more about you and your actual living soul, you realize like, man, I wasn't choosing too well. Because all that volatility in these relationships that end up becoming over and done, normally the turbulence and the discontent and the aggravation and agitation within those relationships come because it's not necessarily always about compatibility. Sometimes we just don't resonate well. Our souls don't. So you want to get a hold to me. Again, my phone number is 8445 Wisdom. I'm extension 0. Just call me. And we can set you up on understanding your living soul. It's not hard to get this done. And I think since you are coming out of your love affair, out of your relationship, or if you've been out for a while and you're just trying to get rooted and get more settled in that relationship, sometimes it takes a while to really figure it out. But how about start working on figuring you out first? Because as soon as you learn about what you have to offer the planet, you'll start to realize, oh, So I understand more about me. And now that I have this knowledge of self, I'm able to choose better. I'm able to choose a lady without choosing a woman just to choose her because I like her, because, we have great intimacy. And that's all good, but you need to know, well, how do you guys mesh as far as your souls? What's your living soul looking like? And then which living soul is going to resonate best with you? That's important. That's important. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This is Coaching Matters, and it does. Listen, gents, I know it's not easy. Once you come out of an affair, it's not easy to come out of it and still be okay. But you will be. You just have to learn to be creative, come up with some ideas, come up with some resolutions. Also, I currently do energy body work. So some of my divorced clients, they come to me for that touch because, of course, intimacy includes touch. So I also do energy body work. So again, I'm attuned at Reiki level 2. I make sure to look out for my clients. My clients are going to be really taken care of mentally, physically, because like I said, I do energy body work, and also just learning how to navigate better with these living soul profile readings. This is what I do. I do readings. You can go on my playlist and take a look at some of the different readings I do. I've already done living soul readings, so you can see some of them and see how they work. Because like I said, we definitely have archetypes. We have our living soul archetype. We have a a moon archetype, a sun archetype, and we also have a living soul archetype and an earth archetype. So we have these archetypes that's in our soul that as long as we start studying and learning about self, we will end up finding ourselves more rejuvenated, more excited about being on the planet and navigating with more confidence because we know who we are and what we're here to do while we're on the planet. And not only just that, we know who actually works well within the confines of our personal energy. What is it that, works well with me? Well, that all depends. You have to know for yourself, well, like for me, I'm a soul protector. I protect. That's what I do. I'm small in stature, but I don't play about my family. I don't play about my lover. I don't play about my kids. I don't play about people I care about. I'm a soul protector, and that's what I do. I'm also a soul promoter. So those that come in my space, I'm always making sure to uplift them. So if you're in my space, I'm going to help you to get to the higher level of yourself. That's what I do. I'm not just some coach out here doing nothing. I help to help you. This is my purpose, though. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm here to do while I'm here. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Like I said, I'm so glad you guys stopped by. Again, please, please, please share the video. And come back later if you don't have enough time to watch the whole thing, and watch it. Watch it from the beginning to the end, because I explain to you why men go into survival mode. What's the 4 things that men concern themselves with when they first get out of a relationship? What do they have to make sure is taken care of? And then how can they do it? To get a hold of me, my phone number is 8445-WISDOM, extension 0. My website is smileandsip.com. Smileandsip.com. Anyone have any questions about the living soul? Please feel free to call me. Living soul profile readings. Like I said, I do living soul profile readings, and I can tell you of your personal living soul archetypes. We have 4 4 archetypes in our living soul. Just all I need is your name and your date of birth, and it reveals your living soul profile. And in that, you find out so much powerful information about you, to where you can be more open to understanding, wow, I didn't know. Like I said, I'm a soul protector and I'm a soul promoter. So those two, I know I have other ones, but those two are major because that's what I do. In this lifetime while I'm here, oh yeah, in this journey path, I'm going to make sure whoever's in my space, you remember the old MySpace, right? Who's ever in my space is going to elevate. This is why I created my mantra, SMILE. SMILE stands for study, meditate, inspire, laugh, and elevate. Like I said, I'm about promotion of souls. I'm going to make sure that you're elevating. I also have a book called the Smile Mantra. How does the Smile Mantra work? Well, I'll put the link in here so you can grab your book. The book is just $25 and it goes straight to your email. It's a PDF. My Smile Mantra book is life-changing. If you follow these acronyms, studying, meditating, inspiring others, laughter, and elevation every day, your life will change. No questions asked, your life will change. So again, I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, get a hold of me. My phone number is 844-5-WISDOM, extension 0. I appreciate everybody. Let's take a look at what everybody says. Evelyn was here. Oh, Eric was complimenting. Thank you, Eric. And Lauren was checking on me, making sure I'm good. Of course, of course. Listen, we have to be in gratitude for this life while we're here. Be sure to share this video. Again, I'm going to make sure to inspire you to be at your highest level of self. No questions asked. Make sure you remember that this life is so precious. And as long as we really are in gratitude and appreciate other people and appreciate every breath we take, we're going to have a phenomenal life. Trust me. Even in the challenges, even in the hard times, we're still going to be better off because we're here. It's your coach, Carla Nicole. I'm signing off, guys. Best kept.